Starting. All
Yes,
right,
we are
we are live.
live. We are live. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much, Aditya, for taking out the time to do this Substack live on a Sunday evening. Very excited to speak about human creativity, AI, books, reading, and so many other things with you. Friends, those of you who don't know Aditya Kasture, he's a good friend, a brother, and from the perspective of work, he's a ghostwriter and is a digital entrepreneur. But to limit him in those two labels would be almost like a crime. He does a lot of cool things otherwise. Many of things we'll talk about today in the session. So welcome Aditya. Thank you for joining and taking our time. How are you doing?
Yeah, I've been so excited for this. I mean, like, full honesty to everyone who is listening, this is my first live, and I haven't been on a live like this. But like when Rishabh asked me, there was no better way to sort of kickstart this. And I love
Yeah,
the low stakes thing about Substack Live. I think it's a very Austin Kleon energy to it, to just come here and just jam on something.
absolutely. And it helps to have Austin Kleon on
Mm.
Substack. Maybe someday he'll
Yeah,
join our Substack live too.
absolutely.
Yeah. But
That'll be a day to look forward to.
absolutely, yeah. But to get the ball rolling, I just want to start by saying that around 3 years back in Himachal, in my older home, I remember when we had just met and you had come home, and over poha, like we were having
Oh yeah, I
breakfast.
do. I remember Ekdam. Like I remember it like it was yesterday.
Yeah. And like, I think that was the first time I heard someone talk about human creativity still being relevant and being all the more important and needed in today's AI time. I think you were the first person to say, like AI ke time pe when everything will be robotic, people will be, like using AI to actually just submit themselves, like, hey, make me do this, make me write an email, and then the creative people who will stand in that storm and dust will survive and like
Yeah.
go beyond everything. Like you were the first person to say that, and it I mean I still think of it and it gives me so much confidence as someone who's
Mm.
building this creative life. So thanks to you, and that's why I thought you would be the absolute perfect person for this
Wow.
call.
Wow,
Yeah,
that is
like
so cool. I mean, like I clearly remember thinking a lot about these topics in that way, but like this specific thing, we discussed a lot of things when we met. Now, so हमने like we
yeah.
discussed writing, we discussed art, we discussed like making poha, cooking, beer, everything. But like of all of these things, creativity is what stood out. I'm very happy to hear that.
Yeah. Also, like, I feel like it takes a lot of backing of values, frameworks, processes to be able to stand in today's time where Claude is releasing newer models every three
Mm.
months with so much power and still say, like, no, I believe in human creativity. I still believe there is something very valuable about this absolutely redundant, time consuming, almost like time wasting process for few, like, things that we
Mm.
do, like writing on notebooks, reading old books, perhaps years old, like centuries old, and still finding value in them. So I think it takes a lot of courage to do that. So kudos to you. And I mean, to get this thing started, I just want to hear from what's your stand on, like, 3 years later on this topic, like human creativity in the age of AI.
Mm.
Yeah, where are you standing right now?
Yeah. So, like, the way I've been thinking about this, like, once again, like, I'm no expert at this. These are just thoughts from what I've observed and, like, what thoughts just come around in my head as a creative professional, as a creative individual myself. So, I view a lot of my work as having a creative element. So, like, in business and ghostwriting, we know now about how it goes when we like go deep into the frameworks, right? But like I sort of have been thinking about this from the lens of technology as a tool, right? So for the longest time, like since Apple and since technology started accelerating, all of it has been aimed at like improving what humans can do. Right? It's like a tool that can help you do more. Like Apple, Steve Jobs called it as like the bicycle for the mind. It's like just like humans had a bicycle for like locomotion, he said, I'm going to build a bicycle for the mind, right? And then Henry Ford designing a car or something to like replace horses, saying you don't need to have that. And like it's all just a tool, right? It's the technology is not in itself valuable. It's like people constantly have been trying to make the technology better and better so that we as humans can do more and more. But but the just the tool is not the point, right? Like what you do with that tool is the real point, right? And I think like with AI, to me somehow it feels like we are entering an era where the shift now has to come to like what will you do with this technology, right? And like building more and more powerful tools and like AI models will go like you can do all sorts of things with AI. So what will you actually do? And the people who have the vision and sort of the passion to like actually think through this is the wrong way of doing things, this is a better human way of doing things, and then I'll use the technology to go towards here. So which this is why the whole like I think creativity is leadership in today's age to some extent, because like, if you don't have creativity, then you're just going to be like the person who just uses the tools, right? But the person who's going to be the most valuable is the person who's going to come with a vision saying, okay, let's use these tools this way and we'll create something super cool out of it, right?
Yeah, beautiful. Makes sense. But do you feel like this wave of technology is a little different in the sense that, like you gave Henry Ford's example, and like
Hmm.
suppose let's say when power looms came in, like so many people who used to make clothes by hand, and like
Hmm.
those nuanced art forms, handicrafts that we still cherish in today's time now, right? I think many of those art forms vanished because people just
Hmm.
got onto these machines, and it was quicker, it was easier, time saving, everything, and that was the demand of the industry. Do you feel like AI might also like make a lot of artists, writers redundant because of like how quickly people are adapting to it or being fearful of the technology? Yeah. So what do you think about that?
Will art replace like will AI replace artists? Is that the question?
Will AI replace writers and artists who do not feel that the confidence that we are feeling in today's time, that no, human creativity will still champion through everything? And I personally know of so many writers who are fearful of AI. So do you feel like it's kind of like a boon to them? Like, yeah, because
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, go ahead, go ahead. I have
No,
something like.
yeah, just like how I was sharing of, earlier in earlier times when new technology has come, it has made working with hand redundant. Like let's say Indian handicrafts, there are so many kind of handicrafts that just like went obsolete because of the power looms. So similarly, like how do you see AI play out in today's time for writers, artists, designers? Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually pretty interesting question, and I'm thinking how I think about this. One of the frameworks which has actually stayed with me, which I use almost to make every decision with regards to this, is sort of this like framing of art versus business, right? So, like what we've been, what we talk about is like when X replaces Y. Now that usually comes in terms of like careers and like job roles and whether you can get paid for it, right? Because like think about an imaginary society where everything is like AI has driven a society to the point where humans don't need to do anything, right? So what will humans do? They'll only create something, right? So creativity and art to me is not replaceable because art is done for the sake of the art. It's not done for the sake of solving a problem or creating something. It's like I wanted to create this. I wanted to bring something out in the world, and that is why I brought it out in the world. It's as simple as that, right? So to me,
Yeah.
art is not something that will get replaced because I'm doing it for me. It's sort of a spiritual process for that, right? But the other question is also important, right? So I think like if you can take the elements of art and like the soul of art and bring it to your career in the business side, that is gonna like take you above, not like below, right? So like I've built this habit of taking business and career decisions and like doing anything you do for work also artfully. So like no matter what you're doing, right? You're sending an email, you're writing this newsletter, or you're writing social media, or even you're writing code, right? there's like, you just know there's this one approach where you do it for the sake of doing it, saying like, this is
Correct.
my job, I'm just going to do it, and once this is done, then my life starts, right?
Yeah.
But the
Yeah.
artist's approach to that is, okay, now that I'm doing this, let me figure out a way to get this done in the best possible way. Can I spin one thing here? Can I add something extra to that, but like create something which is mine, which goes a little bit beyond. So if this can be brought by artists to their career as well, it'll skyrocket them. And this is what I think with AI as well. It's this like one creative element. If you can bring it to your businesses, if you can bring it to your job roles, AI will accelerate you, not hold you back.
Wow. Beautiful, yeah. I think why you're the perfect person to talk about these things is that you have your feet in both buckets. Like, I know you are as much
Hmm.
of a businessman as you are an artist. And yeah, like vice versa, like both these kind of rivers converge for you. And that's
Hmm.
why it's so cool hearing these things from you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, like, I want to take up a story, and I want to like cross question you a little bit. Like, so we
Yeah.
recently did this where we sort of did this Dream 100 thing. You sent it to a friend, and like you've seen the impact of what happens when you
Yeah.
put your heart and soul and like the creative soul into doing work that is just done for the sake of work. So,
Correct.
like, can you just like give a preview, a short story of what happened and like what has been happening when you start doing this? I want people to know this.
Yeah, I think it was one of the most phenomenal kind of outcome for me when it comes to work. Uh, I mean, even for me, like there have been these buckets of, okay, this is business and this is art, and like how do I kind of, and like never finding a way to merge the both. But Aditya, as I shared in the beginning, is a ghostwriter, and I happen to write as well. And I was just asking him, like, what are the ways in which writers can get projects, get better clients, get more money, and yeah, and he happened to share this beautiful framework. And I think he would be a better person to talk about it. But just by virtue of doing something selflessly for a client without even them telling you to, and just like analyzing their strategy and making a kind of like a document for them. It took me what, like 2-3 hours of good actual work. And like since then, it has been the client that has been behind my back to like work with them. And I was not even interested, like I was just doing this for fun and just as an experiment.
Hmm.
And like now the art is the kind of connection that they might have felt with me, like the client and me,
Hmm.
the connection of trusting me just from my work, the connection of finding the agency and ownership without even having to sell it, just
Hmm.
my mail, just the fact that I did this work for them, right?
Hmm.
And how it shines in today's world where people are just behind each other's, ki, hey, I want
Hmm.
projects, I want to freelance, ye wo.
Hmm.
So yeah, I mean, it
Hmm.
was really beautiful. It was artistic, and I mean,
Hmm.
yeah, totally.
Yeah. So the way I look at it is, people often ask me like, AI versus non-AI. Are you able to tell? And I immediately tell them, like, if you've ever like done something which is like just AI versus like you have poured your soul into something and you have created the same thing with creativity, you will be able to tell the difference in like 5 minutes, 5 seconds, even not even that, right? Like
Yeah.
someone who has like taken up the challenge of like using all the powers that we have, and like creativity is one of the powers which cannot be replaced, right? Like you do any job, but if you really try to do a good job at it, you will come up with a creative way of like doing the same thing, which can be done like in a very mathematical, non-creative way. But there's a vibe or an energy that gets transmitted when you put something creative out in the world, right? And I really believe that. So like,
Yeah.
just like, even for you, like if we send something to a potential client, right? You put your heart and soul into it and just send them over, and then you'll be it will be unbelievably shocked what happens once people see how creativity can lead someone, right? So this is why like
Yeah.
creativity as leadership is like a very cool thing to sort of keep in today's world for me.
Absolutely. And you're so right, because now in today's time when anyone can code, anyone can write poetry using AI, anyone can design things, what does it take for one to, like be the visionary, like be the creative director
Hmm.
of that particular project and call the shots, and then use AI or not use AI. I mean, that's subjective.
Hmm.
That's then using it as a tool is a different thing. But like the thinking happens here, only here, right? And like
Hmm.
we saw it again when we did the EEC that we were working on, like
Hmm.
educational email course. Like for me, so Aditya ghostwrites these beautiful product which is called a educational email course. And of course, he can share more about it. But just from my perspective of entering into this world recently, for me, it was just like, what's there to writing 5 emails? Like anyone can do it. But then when you know, like co-travel with Aditya, you see the kind of effort it takes, the kind of high level thinking it takes. I mean, just 2 hours of doing this rich work would deplete you of all energy throughout the day because it's so rich, right? And that
Hmm.
is what good ghostwriters get paid for, essentially, like just the thinking part of it.
Hmm.
Yeah, so much art in the things you do, yeah, like even for business. And yeah, I love
Yeah,
how you have
I mean,
managed
like
to.
this is something which has like I don't know, like luckily this has happened to me where I got into writing through the lens of business, saying I wanted to like figure out entrepreneurship, and that's how writing came into my life. But
Yeah.
over time, like I've become a writer first and an entrepreneur second, and specifically this year, so I'm really feeling it. Like since I've started writing my Substack, it's been a lot of
Wow.
fun, like just like letting go of all the things and just accepting that I am a writer, and like this is just a lot of fun to put words and like I think in one of the last newsletters I write, it came from me. Like I used to love this feeling of choreographing. Okay, I don't know if you know this, but I was a part of IIT Bombay's dance team. Okay,
No
so
way. Crazy.
I used to lead my hostel's dance team in like competitions. We used to go to like inter hostel inter college competitions as well, and
Wow.
and we used to choreograph and like put on shows, right? And like Substack has the same feeling to me when you like start writing it out. Almost like you're choreographing with words and you're putting together something that makes people feel something and probably like do something about what they just saw.
Beautiful, yeah. What a cute analogy, like your college's dance group and Substack. But we were just talking about it just before we started the live, right? Like how beautiful Substack is, just in the nature of how it's like long form writing first, writers
Hmm.
friendly, and also like very deep. Like so, it's not like only shorter pieces are encouraged or are pushed by the algorithm.
Hmm.
Even like very long pieces sometimes get absolute viral, and I love that about Substack. Like also
Yeah.
like no ads. So kudos to the creators for still like
Hmm.
not going the ad route, and how it feels so clean and nice, and the audience is also
Hmm.
filtered because of these things.
Yeah. We have
So
all the like high
absolutely.
quality people like being interested in other people on Substack right now. It's genuinely one of the best times to be like here on the platform, I think.
Absolutely. And I think that reminds me that we have 8 beautiful minds who have joined
Yeah.
us on the live. So, hi, everyone. Thank you for joining
Thank
us
you
on
guys
a
for
Sunday
joining. We
evening.
appreciate you a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we had not imagined that people would join on a Sunday evening, but it's very cool
Yeah.
that. But then that's Substack for you, right?
Yeah, exactly.
People tune in to hear like people talk. Uh, but like one more thing that I want to ask you is that I know Aditya, you're also a reader, and also like the kind of reader who quotes people and books and artists and authors, and I love that about you. Uh, what are the kind of books you read that help you go back to your creativity? Like I know you're reading Artist Way, so would love to hear about
Hmm.
what role books have played in
Hmm.
your creative journey.
Yeah. Like so, one of the first books that actually got me thinking critically about creativity was this book called Creative Confidence. Okay, and like I highly recommend reading that book. It is written by two brothers who, like, if you have ever heard the term design thinking, like these two brothers, David Kelly and Kevin Kelly, I think those are the two people. I might be butchering their names, but it's a beautiful book. It says like
Wow.
it talks about why creativity is like inherent to us. It's not like humans are essentially creative, right? It's if we don't have an outlet and we don't practice the creativity, it's because something has blocked the creativity within us. And it's the same thing which the artist way is doing for me right now. So like first book was that like creative confidence really got me into something. Like it resonated on so many levels to me. And like what was interesting was it was one of the first books which I completely read end to end. So like it's hard for me like to read end to end a book, where specifically when it's non-fiction. I kind of believe that in once you get the idea that helps you change something, you just go implement that. But
Hmm.
in creative content, it was so amazing. Like all of these fundamentals of business and all of what I have learned in the side about OKRs, about business, and everything that I was learning, it all came down to creativity because everything was in that book. Right. So right from the lean way to do things, and like customer success, everything you could map all the core business elements to the creative process that he has mapped. It was beautiful.
Wow, amazing. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I have the same question for you. Like, what are the books that have inspired you? I know Austin Kleon has really inspired you, but like, who are the other people that make it to the category?
So Austin Kleon won, and like these three books have been my
Mm,
Bible. I think Show Your Work, Steal Like an Artist, and Keep Going.
mm,
And I keep
mm,
going back to them.
mm,
Like literally, I just finished doing like a, what do you call it, like a marathon reading of all three books. I
mm,
mean, there is so much in Austin's work, and like he's someone who is always like a work in progress guy, and that's what I love about him. His book just got published, the fourth one, Don't Call It Art. A friend was kind enough to bring it from US, and it's on the way right now to my home in Beed.
wow.
And
Mm,
I'm going to just take 2 days ka chutti and
mm,
just read it. But what I love about this guy is like, his book just got launched and he's back at his studio and working. And he's like, यार मेरे को नहीं करनी book marketing, मेरे को काम करने दो. I just want to do
mm,
my work. And like he has and continues to give me the belief that this is needed, this is powerful, and I'm on the right track. So I would say like
mm,
these three books have served like my Bible, and I continue to read them on and on.
mm.
Other than that, another book that we often talk about, like Stephen Pressfield's War of Art.
Yeah.
I think that was also very, very cool to finally name this one thing.
Name this one thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so much of like work in life is just acknowledgement, right? Like I know
Mm,
for sure, like if I hear my friend like just share their worries, like half of it would go just by virtue of acknowledging things. Same for me,
mm,
like there was this bug of, hey, I'm not creative enough because I keep getting these
mm,
writer's block or the photography block or like creative
mm,
blocks. But then him saying
mm,
that it's fine, it's resistance, it's human, everybody faces it was
mm,
so like, wow, thank you so much. Like it
mm,
just gave like a framework for things that I was dealing with.
mm,
And I feel that's what good books and good authors do, right? Like
mm,
they share something so personal, but because it's so personal and so intimate, somehow there is a universal how do I
mm.
say it? Yeah, like
Yeah,
universality
universality.
to it. Yeah,
Yeah.
universality to it. And that's what I love about creative work, like whatever I share
Mm,
on my Substack also, it's absolutely private, only my lived experience. And then it just so happens
mm.
that few people find themselves in
Yeah.
it. And same for me. Yeah, so these are some books I
Yeah,
keep
there's
going to.
something about reading and like something about like immersing yourself into art that like really rewires you in some way, right? And
Yeah,
like even with art, like it creativity and art, it forces you to go deep with your focus, I think, right? So like whatever element you're choosing as your art, right? If you're dancing, if you're painting, if you're like doing pottery, right? It's not done to be finished, right? When it's done well, you invest a lot of time into getting it right, and like you don't let it go when you think something else can be made better. You just keep making it better, keep making it better. And that depth of focus that you just put into one thing, that is what creates the real magic. And like it's the
absolutely.
same thing when it comes to like your career and your business, right? At the core, it's the same thing. If you can pour like this much focus into one thing, that is what actually creates the next level outcomes where people actually feel it, where they like it goes into their blood and like rewires them. It requires that much focus and like that depth of focus towards a certain thing which makes that difference, right? So I think like
Yeah.
same thing, will creatives be replaced by AI? No, because like creatives are like training themselves with this focus thing as well. right?
Yeah.
In like
Yeah.
in the age of AI, I think specifically we are going to be divided into two halves, right? So like the people who do choose to practice their creativity and create something versus the people who just consume a lot, right?
Hmm.
And like as people, like it's just so tempting to just be constantly on the consumption treadmill, right? Like
Yeah.
it's never been true. Like you go to Netflix, you go anywhere, and like the amount of good quality movies that you have to watch is infinite now. Like it
Wow.
like for the longest time it was true that good movies were like select, so like you could just go and watch something. But
Yeah.
if you turn on the consumption tab right now, there's just so much high quality stuff for you to watch that you could technically argue that it will be a good life just like consuming your way through all of it. But I
Correct.
do stand on the other end of it. So like life is create first, and that's where we are going, right? If your consumption is 90%, and in fact, like if someone listening to this feels like it's 100-0, that is something that I definitely would really want to do something about, right? So
Yeah.
I think like eventually you get to a point where you want to create more and more and more,
Yeah.
but like you like it's imperative that you shift from like a consumption mindset to a create and creation mindset, like as fast as possible, right? Because like
Hmm.
creativity and creating something is what is going to stand out, right? And eventually like the core problem which I think a lot of us are facing these days is existentialism as well. So like what's the point of all of this? I'm pretty like this is the current problem of our like generation and everything that's been going on, right? Ki itna sab hai, kyun karna hai? And
True.
like there's so much to do, and like every person to a certain degree feels कि यार कुछ भी करने की जरूरत नहीं है ना, फिर like क्यों करना है इतना है तो, है ना? And
Correct.
like I've found creativity as like a source of meaning as well. Creativity is the one thing which you, if you start falling in love with it, the that thing is the source of meaning for you, right? And
Yeah.
I think like you embody this more than anyone else. I think like the amount of creative outlets you have and jitna prolific you are with creation. So like how does this one thing play out in your life? Iske liye bhi I'll be very curious. So like
Yeah.
in day to day, how does creativity run in your DNA? So like how do you approach life through a create first lens? Can you like talk
Hmm.
about this a little bit?
Yeah, thanks, Har, and thank you for like setting the stage for it so beautifully. I mean, before I share, I would just like to say that for me, the life cycle of the consumption process includes creation in it by nature. You know, like so, if I watch a good
Mm.
film, I cannot watch another film until I've fully digested it. I've fully written, like
Mm.
I've written about it, or I've like blabbered about it to 10 people in my life, and that's also some part of like creation, right? Like not hurrying to the next experience, but fully letting it simmer in you, like sitting with it for
Mm.
days. Like there have been, and I'm not a Netflix person at all. Like I have an
Mm.
account, but it's only my sister who uses it. I have not watched a film in 6 months, and I mean, I'm not saying watching a film is bad, but it's just that I'm so full of creating, like like just creating stuff, like and now I think with the algorithms and reels, like the systems know exactly what you would love to see, and whenever I open
Mm.
YouTube, I feel very scared of what it will show me, because I know I would want to click, tap on every video out there.
Mm.
Yeah, so I feel like in today's time and age, grounding yourself in like analog practices have been very, very
Mm.
useful for me. So like if you see this calendar, I've tried to have like an analog calendar. I have these like bunch of notebooks, again like stolen from Austin Kleon's process. I have a
Mm.
logbook in which I track like sweet moments from every day. Like
Mm.
yesterday I just wrote like like I published an article on which someone wrote the comment, like a beautiful comment that they wrote. So now like
Mm.
just, I mean, what it does is that it's just making me pause through life and just admire the
Mm.
smallest of things in life. And then I wrote like read for a while, binge researched someone I was looking up
Mm.
to. And then I have another book which is called a commonplace book. It's going quite viral
Yeah.
these days. But it's so cute, yeah, like because again, like, there are quotes being thrown at you from every angle, right? Like Instagram, LinkedIn, people are
Mm.
just quoting people. But then what do you do with all that? So whatever quotes I
Mm.
like, I like to just write in this
हाँ.
notebook, and they just stay with me. And then this is, of course, the morning pages that we all do, like both of us do.
Hmm.
So yeah, like I feel grounding myself in absolute analog practices, going to the extent of not even using social media or laptop as much, has been very, very, very confident, inspiring, and helpful as a
Hmm.
creative person. Uh, but yeah, and like of course, reading books and like yeah, like stalking artists online and looking at their journeys and finding like confidence in their stories. Yeah, these have been some
Yeah.
things
Yeah, I mean, it
that
just
I do.
shows that. So, like, everyone who has met you, probably all of the people, most of the people who might be joining, or anyone who has met you, like, I really resonated with Shivangi's post that she has made yesterday, like the happiness one, like the one which featured you, right? So it comes across from you how you are in touch with the creative side of you, right? And you
Yeah,
hosted these creative workshops as well. I feel like a lot of the meaninglessness of life is sort of like reduced when you commit and when you lean in into your creativity, right? So like I have been feeling this, that like every time the whole existentialist thought comes in, right? So like if I go and like actually create something, that whole process of like having done something or having written an article, what
yeah,
that does to you and the feeling that you have, it's like absolutely opposite of what existentialism is, right? So you
beautiful.
write something that you're proud of, and like for the next 2-3 hours at least, you will be glowing in this like energy of having created something
Oh
beautiful.
my God, yeah, so
It's
sweet,
so
yeah,
true, right?
yeah. So true and so innocent, right? Like yesterday, I was just jumping from joy
Hmm.
after having published that piece that I wrote, and I
Hmm.
mean, I had not even like seen Substack, and मैंने मेरे को पता भी नहीं था कितने लोगों ने देखा है, comments,
Hmm.
statistics, everything comes second. But the fact that I was beaming with joy having created something, you're so
Yeah.
right. You're like, I love what you said, like, and
Hmm.
this is going to my commonplace book today. Like, existentialism is exactly opposite to this joy of creating something and putting yourself in the world. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
these are some practices by which you acknowledge yourself, your own living, your own breathing nature, right? Like,
Hmm.
lately I've started to like do another creative practice. It's like art, and like
Hmm.
I've named it bad art. So
Oh,
by
nice.
intention, I'm like I'm only going to make bad art, and because art is something, if you already step in thinking that you'll make good art, you have already like
Hmm.
it's
Defeating the
the first
purpose,
mistake.
kinda. Yeah.
If it is and yeah, I mean, I love artists so much. I have this friend Kruti. I'm not sure if
Hmm.
she's online, but she's one of my favorite artists, and I've seen her journey up close. And I've begged her, "Yeah, mere ko bhi sikha," And she has always told
Hmm.
me, Rishabh, you are a painter, you are an artist. You just have to give the amount of hard work it takes to become
Hmm.
one. And so that is one perspective. कि talent वैलेंट मेरे को तो नहीं लगता कुछ होता है. I don't believe in anything like
Hmm.
talent. It's just hard work. But also second, like I've been always in this energy of wanting to learn art. I've watched videos,
Hmm.
I've like learned art from teachers,
Hmm.
but now I'm like, yeah, it's fine. I don't have to learn something to enjoy it. And yesterday for two
Hmm.
hours, bhai, you won't believe it, I made a mess of my room. I told Shivangi to
Hmm.
not come in my room for 2 hours.
Hmm.
I'm making a lot of mess. And I was just playing with colors. Both my hands were full of paints.
Oh, wow.
And like this is contributing nothing to the GDP. This is
Yeah.
contributing zero. Like I'm wasting time. I'm an adult. I'm almost 30, married. So by all means of society, this is a time waste, right? But I mean, what do I say? Like it was the most beautiful part of my day. Yeah. I mean
Hmm.
that's it. Like
Yeah.
full stop.
Definitely. I can so agree with you. I mean, like, it doesn't matter how small a thing it is, right? Like, it's
Yeah.
just like every Saturday or Sunday when I do the weekly review thing, I start my weekly review and planning the next week with just like cleaning out my room and like doing the laundry and like doing all of these small things. But even that, like, there's this some sort of a creativity feeling to it, that I'm gonna
Yeah.
set up the space and everything.
Yeah.
And like having done it, and like it's one of the best things I do all week, right? And I am genuinely like so much into this. Like a lot of people need to start like bringing the artist lens of being an artist to life, right? It helps so
Yeah.
much with like everything. So like
Yeah.
I brought, I don't know who said this, but like I really love this. I heard a long time back, it says how you do anything is how you do everything. Like
Wow.
so
Beautiful.
that like really applies to art as well. Like if you train yourself to think like an artist,
Yeah.
you will naturally want to slow down and do things a certain way and just bring something in the world, right? And like
Yeah.
actually like it's something which is inside you and you just bring something out in the world. The feeling of that is like anybody who like thinks like AI will replace artists or replace people who can do this, like just I don't think they have like really felt the extent of how amazing it feels to like bring something out in the world, right? So like even like I creativity has entered my life pretty recently, by the way. So like I don't like all the creativity that I had. The oldest creativity I know is the dancing in college, right? And yeah, and that was like a thing which I had in college. I didn't used to think about it like a creative endeavor. But
Yeah.
after that, creativity entered my life after I quit my job, and it's been pretty recent. So going from a tech background to like a writer, the jump
Yeah.
has been big for me, and I like I feel this intense craving inside me to just like create so much more than I'm creating right now, right? And like
Wow.
there's so much that we do as like business owners, you know. I know like there's so much
Yeah.
that goes into like actually running a one person business, but I feel myself
Absolutely.
craving so much to like just like create something more, like add one more thing. Like if I'm writing a newsletter, then I want to write on social media as well. I want to do some Instagram as well, and like not because of like all of the perks that you get from it. It's just
Correct.
like if you create a reel that you are really proud of,
Yeah.
you will be beaming the entire day, like genuinely.
So true, yeah. I made that carousel few days back, and without even having to post it, I was like, yeah, this is my story. Like, and I've
Yeah, exactly.
expressed it using photographs and like words. And I mean, it's as creative as things can get. Like, just because we are
Mm,
posting it on online or Instagram doesn't
mm,
take away the like beauty
mm,
of it. But also, yeah, I just want to highlight, and many people might not know, but I feel like you are one of the most creative people I know because of how much creativeness there is in your day-to-day life, like the systems you have set for yourself. And I know, like, whenever I've spoken to you, you have always, like, come up with some framework, some system that you go by that has helped you in your life. And the fact that it's easily replicable to me and I'm able to try and test it within a day, that is also so much of a creative process, right? Like the toggle theme that you
mm,
shared, and like calendaring, weekly reviews, and so many of your things. I feel like there is this whole world of Aditya Kasture, and he has
mm,
craftfully, creatively designed it. And I mean, it's as creative as things can get, yeah. So wanted to highlight that also. Like, there's so much creativity in structure and processes and
mm.
frameworks. Like this is also a side of creativity.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
but
think like
like,
one of the things that has helped me really is understanding this framework of containers, I think. So like
hmm,
creativity breeds in constraints is like is one of the best like
absolutely,
ideas ever. So like the
yeah,
moment you create a container in which you can think, like things really change. So like all I do in life actually, like this is why I'm obsessed by this idea of life by design, right? So like that's the
hmm,
name of my newsletter, and everything I do is just like I've trained myself to look at life from the lens of like creativity. How can be creative in the way I live life, right? And
yeah,
like that sounds a little like I feel a little impostery in like saying all of this, but but like all I do with those reviews and like toggle and everything is just create containers in which I can think creatively, right? So like
wow,
whether it's like a weekly review is just like in a week how I can be creative, what I can do. When it's the annual review, like I think about annual reviews, like when I sit down at the end of the year to think what next is gonna be, the question in front of me is usually okay, like my storyline has been coming like this till now, and this is what my character has been going through. And like annual reviews and the year long reviews is where like the storyline shifts happen. So like are we
yeah.
gonna like completely do something else, and like do we want to like really think about what where life can be if we just leave everything and just do something completely different? So just these containers and being able to think through these containers has been really beautiful with the whole reviews and the systems I've set up on the back end.
Wow. Yeah, I think that's
Mm.
the beauty of creativity, right? Like, you don't have
Mm.
to have like a paintbrush in hand to say that you're a creative person.
Mm.
I'm really saying it out of like
Mm.
full confidence that you are one of the most creative person I know, because you're not like creative in the sense of like outright creativity, like, malab, you get what I mean, right? Like, your
Mm.
creativity seeps into your everyday life and routine and the structures that you maintain, and it's been very inspiring to see that. Yeah, and plus one on the container thing. Like even for me, like like
Mm.
just having these. I mean, more than anything, like abhi yaar wohi hai na. Suppose I open Toggle and put a 1 hour kind of like a block
Mm.
on it. Nothing is stopping me from opening Instagram. Right? I
Yeah,
can
exactly.
still not
Mm.
work, but just the fact that I've created that container for myself,
Mm.
something switches in the brain that tells me to be serious now.
Yeah.
And it's so crazy, like it's the same brain that's like telling me to open social media and distract myself, but the same
Mm.
brain, just by virtue of putting a click on Toggle, is tells me to
Yeah,
focus.
like
What is
once you
this?
feel it, like it's just incredible what this one act does, right? It's just like to everyone who is new here, what we're talking about is an app called Toggle, and the concept is just very simple. Every time you sit down to work, you write down what you're gonna work on. You just hit the toggle, and then you start working. It's just this 5 second thing that you do, where you just force yourself to just write what you're gonna work on, and like
Yeah,
you don't even have to use an app. Just write it down on your like notebook or somewhere. Just write
yeah,
down what you're working on and then start working on it, and you will see the incredible difference it does to the way you operate after that.
yeah,
Right?
so true. Yeah, it's beautiful. I mean, and there are some things जिसको intellectualize इतना नहीं कर सकते. I feel this is one of such thing.
Hmm.
Like the more you think about it, the more it defeats the purpose of thinking.
Yeah.
Like the idea of doing Toggle is you're telling your mind to stop thinking and start doing. And
Hmm.
I'm not sure if you know, but I run this it's a community space of writers. We
Oh
come
yeah, I
every
know.
Friday,
Yeah, yeah.
7 to 8. Yeah, it's very cool. And I've tried to do a similar thing. Like because I heard from so many writers, don't have time to write, don't have space to
Hmm.
write, don't have a community, don't know when to write. I was like, यार 7 से 8 ये container है, जो आ सकता है आओ, एकदम free
बिल्कुल.
है. I'll be there writing because Saturday को I send my newsletter, and
Hmm.
previously it would be so like I would wake up on a Saturday and then keep thinking about the newsletter I have to write, but then
हाँ.
like not write it till evening, and then I would sit and write it. Then I was
Hmm.
like, I want a space like this, so let's create it. And I feel it serves a similar purpose to what you are sharing in Toggle. Like
Hmm.
just by virtue of knowing that a space exists, a container exists, people join here. I mean, there are 100, 150 people on the group, and hardly 5, 6 join.
Wow.
But
Congratulations. That is such a community you've built now.
yeah, but what I love is that the same 5 people join every week,
Hmm.
and I just love it. And even if one
Hmm.
of them were to continue, they would still find me on the call. Like
Yeah.
the fact that they are joining makes me want to join and write my
Yeah.
newsletter
See,
chupchap.
this is how a creative person approaches things. Like the thing by itself is so valuable and so joyful
Yeah,
for you. Like
yeah,
the success of it is just does not matter only. And the more you can show up with this energy in the world, you won't be
yeah,
replaced. I have uh zero fear that AI is ever gonna replace me because
yeah,
of this, right? Holding spaces like these, and like this is something we're creating, right? Like we are bringing something out in the world, and just the
yeah.
energy of that, it's so valuable to the human who does it and the humans you're part of it as well.
Correct.
So like I think we talked about AI for 10 minutes. Since then it's all been creativity,
Oh wow!
creativity, creativity, right?
Actually, wow, that's
Yeah.
so cool, yeah. Wow, crazy. So we talked about human creativity in the age of AI without naming Gemini, Claude, or ChatGPT in the
Nothing.
43rd minute. Kudos, Aditya. We're doing a really good job. Cheers.
Yeah, exactly. This
Wow,
is what it
wow.
is, right? Like the whole
Yeah,
thing is AI and creativity are categorically different. And like
yeah,
creativity by itself, it you should do it.
yeah.
Because of all the things that we discussed. Like
Correct. Yeah. Wow, it's almost 6:44, and I mean,
yeah.
time just flew by. This was
Flew
so
by.
amazing, yeah.
Yeah.
I wish we could go on forever. And I think one of the greed of wanting to speak to you all about this, creating this container, was just because I want to keep sending out this message to the world, like that
Hmm.
creativity is important. And I'm going to do it
Hmm.
whether or not people hear me or leave me.
Yeah.
I'm still going to do it.
Absolutely.
Because there is so much noise of AI adoption,
Hmm.
like so there has to be people who are talking about human creativity. So I think I'm absolutely blessed that I have people like you who I can who I know embody this practice of creativity and who cherish it, want to nourish this. So thank you so much for this beautiful conversation, and I hope we become like the torch bearers of the movement of
Yeah.
human creativity. Yeah,
I'm absolutely with you. I'm gonna like I'm with you on this torch. Okay, stop consuming and start creating. The more you create, the more life starts becoming beautiful. Everything starts sorting itself out. You start attracting serendipity as well. And at the end of the day, the thing you create lives forever, right? So like a great consumption thing will be cool, and like I'm not against it, right? So like
yeah,
consuming high quality art is what inspires you, and like watching a really cool movie, it really is inspiring, and it has its own place, right? But
yeah,
like creativity always comes first, right? Like you create first.
yeah.
So yeah, I'm totally on the torch bearing thing. Like if we can gather up people, and if we can create more and more spaces where we allow people to get a little bit more creative, get them permission to do something more creative,
Yeah.
it will create like this wave, I'm pretty sure. And like that wave is important. I really think it is important today. Right. So
Yeah.
like just creativity requires a certain type of vision though. Like the more I think about this, right? When you actually put your heart and soul into something, you
Yeah.
have to ask yourself, okay, I want to do a good job at it. Right. So if you ask yourself how I can do a good job at it, you will have to figure out what is a bad job at it. Like how do I take things to the
Wow.
next level? How do I improve the experience? It requires a certain vision leadership in order to like be creative, and it's important. I think like very very important.
So cool, yeah. I think I can pick your mind for hours. You're one of the smartest person I know, and it gives me so much confidence that the smartest person I know is rooting for creativity. So
Mhm.
yeah. So thanks for doing
Yeah.
this. Like it's almost like a service.
Yeah. I
And
think I
yeah,
think like for everyone who has been kind enough to join, हम लोग के पास कितने 12 लोग हैं अब? Like so
uh,
cool.
yeah, nice. Even these guys, everyone who has joined, like you are the torch bearers of the creativity movement with
Yeah.
us. So thank you for taking out
Hmm.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
एक मुझे बहुत लगता है like everywhere we go, I think दो चीजें I think are really like close to me, which I sort of want to push is like creativity begins in micro doses. We've seen this a lot, right? कि like if you try to write a novel directly, and like that's the perfect way to like allow resistance to have a complete hold on you, right? That's not how it's the smallest things where you say, okay, I'm gonna be creative in doing this, right? So
yeah,
like whether it's like making your tea, if you are not really happy with how your tea, like just opening up a video, watching something, trying something new, like just start there, and it just keeps compounding. And the second one, I find myself talking about this a lot. If
yeah.
people see someone who has put their heart into creating something in the world, then like please do not say anything that will make them feel bad about it,
Wow,
right? Even if you don't like it, even if your vision does not say this, even if you can find 10 places where that could have been better, or like you
beautiful.
should have done that, shouldn't be doing. And this is also something which I really want, because it requires something to like put a part of you and a piece of you into something. And so like
Yeah,
even if it is as simple as someone has cooked something for you, someone has brought a flower for you, like do nothing but appreciate. Okay, like just appreciate the fact that someone has done something creative. And like if you really want to pinpoint like something, and if you want to add something, don't do it then and there. Like wait for some time, and like be specific in what you think the other person can find some value in. But like kuch na bolna is like holding your criticism inside is still okay, but like don't let someone feel even a hint of like bad about creating something, is what I really feel strongly about.
wow, yeah. I think out of the entire 48 minutes that we have spoken,
Mm,
the last 1 minute of what
mm,
you shared has been the most important learning for me.
mm,
Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Wow. Just giving the permission to people to create, like,
mm.
yeah. Hey, somebody has shared something. Hi,
Yeah,
Subramaniam. Good to hear from you. Can I just read the comment, Aditya?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Good, Aditya and Rishabh. It was really nice to hear you both speak with deep passion on creativity, which is the basic instinct of a human being, and this cannot be snatched by any technology. Yeah.
True,
Cheers,
absolutely. Cheers to
absolutely. Thank
that.
you so much. Yeah, love it. Sending a lot of heart to you, Subramaniam. Thank you so much. Wow.
Wow.
What a talk,
Wow.
yeah.
Heart is
Beautiful.
full. This was so
Heart is
amazing.
full. Yeah, so good. Thank you, Aditya. I mean, it was really very, very important that we talk about these things, and I'm definitely going to call you again. Uh,
Hmm.
so last week we had Kanak on the Substack live, and Kanak and I, gave a little sneak peek to people that the next time we
Hmm.
speak will be at a very different location, very
Yeah.
different kind of a setting. Happy
Hmm.
to share that Aditya will be a part of it as well, but it's top secret right now.
Yes.
So,
It's very stealth mode right now.
yes, it's stealth mode right now, but a big surprise is on the way for everyone who's
Hmm.
interested, and looking forward to talk to you very, very soon.
Yeah, we'll jam on a
Yes,
lot
ma'am.
of different things. I mean, like, even in this topic, I think I have a handful of topics that we can really go deep into, right? We sort of
Yeah,
scratch the surface of a lot of different important things,
yeah,
but there's so much to jam on, right? Like, even just like we could just do a complete episode on just War of Art and what
yeah,
resistance is, and like what it plays, and what role that book has played in our lives.
yeah,
Just
yeah.
so much
I'm
fun.
game. I'm game. Yeah,
Hmm.
I think people are going to see you very, very like. I mean, how do I say it? Like, kafi bar. Like you're going to come, and we are going to have these discussions again and again. So thank you everyone who joined.
Yes. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, it was lovely. Thanks for taking out time on a Sunday evening, and yeah, keep the creativity movement alive. Make a lot of bad art. Listen to music,
हाँ बिल्कुल.
paint, draw. Like
We
sit
are
with your
right behind
friends.
you. Like you will
Yes,
only get this energy from us if you do something
absolutely.
artful.
Absolutely. And if you have nobody else to show it to, send your bad art to us, send your bad poetry to
बिल्कुल.
us. We'll find ways to make it beautiful and make
Yeah.
it acknowledged. Yeah.
No,
Thank you so
nobody will
much.
appreciate it more than us. I will tell you this.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Bye
Thank you,
bye.
everyone.
Bye,
Bye.
Aditya. Thank you.
Bye.